Welcome to the IVEC conference. My name is Yvonne Clavers, and I am the International Research Mobility Coordinator and oversee the Visiting Scholar program at Carleton University in Canada. The following video will explore our virtual Visiting Scholar program at Carleton and is divided into three parts. The first will offer a description of our program. The second will show the experiences of some of our visiting scholars and their faculty hosts in their own words. The third and last part offers some reflections about what virtual research collaboration is. At the end of the video, my colleagues and I will be available for questions and answers. We created this video to generate ideas and encourage thoughts regarding this emerging and important aspect of internationalization. When the COVID-19 pandemic brought restrictions to international travel in 2020, universities faced tough questions regarding how to best support international research. While research mobility has traditionally been done via in-person visits of scholars at Carleton University, it became obvious to us that virtual research can in fact offer greater opportunities. To accommodate virtual research mobility, we updated our guidelines and related policy to include virtual offerings in addition to the traditional in-person collaboration. The new virtual visiting scholar program in place since last year allows researchers from abroad to formally conduct research at Carleton from their home countries. While researchers have always conducted research remotely, our program allows them to have official recognition of their work as temporary research affiliates. At Carleton University, the top 5 countries which most of our visiting researchers come from are China, India, Iran, France, and Brazil, closely followed by Germany. The majority of our visiting researchers, especially from these countries, are funded by either their home university or funding agencies. For the virtual visiting scholar program, it was important to ensure we continue to support researchers abroad whose funding was based on projects and collaborations with Carleton researchers and allow for continuity of these important research projects. Since April 2020, we have processed over 30 virtual visiting scholars who have started 27 research projects with 4 faculties involving 24 faculty hosts. We expect that number to increase over the next years. Interested scholars express official interest, secure a host, develop a research plan, get approval, receive access to library and additional departmental resources, and conduct research. Virtual research offerings have been a good fit for hard sciences in particular.
That's something we even, there's a lot of focus on the pandemic, how things went, but I think for international collaborations, this is something we'll want to keep doing in the future. So it provides the opportunity for a student in Europe or Africa or Asia or any other part of the world to have a virtual research internship at Carleton without necessarily having to travel if there are travel restrictions in place. So that's the opportunity. The challenge, of course, is time zones and then having to schedule meetings and talk and using virtual tools. We're getting better and better at it. But that's mostly the challenge. In the case of an academic internship, I'll also add that for me, it was a challenge to know exactly what was required from the program at the partner institution. So something I would do better in the future is get in closer contact with these local supervisors at the institution abroad to make sure that I understand completely what the internship requirements are.
Once again, quite surprisingly, my availability to my research team is more at the moment. I also started a YouTube channel, which is, which is quite welcomed by the international research community. I post my talks there. So availability is more in general, but then the quality of availability perhaps is different and lower in comparison to, again, sitting across the table with a young researcher. Yeah, that part is the missing part, the human touch.
Before the COVID, I was a local researcher. Okay, I can say that. I was a local researcher. I do research in my lab. I share with my colleagues. And then with the COVID and with the remote access all around the world, I noticed that, okay, all around the world, the results are almost the same. And in every groups, in every groups, they encounter the same problems, and I learned how they resolve their problems. So in now, I can say that I am a more global researcher, and I can understand what's going on in other labs. Okay.
I would be willing to do a virtual research, engage in a virtual program or a research opportunity. Why? Because what I realized, and this will probably give feed into the other questions. What I realized was that it is like it has somehow during this pandemic, people have become either more accessible, so we don't have to go through those channels. So if I would have been physically present there, then probably to reach out to a particular professor, it would take me some time. I'll have to seek appointments, or I have to go to a particular office, and all that would have consumed my time. So it is quite time efficient. So I like that part of it, and I really therefore I look forward to it. And especially for someone who's working in this field where data is involved, or where platforms, social media platforms are involved, I think virtual medium works the best.
Well, I'm more inclined to do in-person research, I guess. But the thing that was positive, it's also it was an internship. The internship was very much focused on the informatic part. As Simon said, everything was. It was easy to do an internship on the computer because everything was online. So if I have another opportunity to do an internship, like which is a bit informatic or something like that, it is not a big problem because the tools are ready and they're easy to use, and yeah, so.
So we do have group meetings in every week or bi-weekly with all groups, everyone in Professor Halim's groups. And we also have subgroups according to our research topics. We do also have meetings with these subgroups individually, and we report to Professor Halim with email. Also, we are always connected with email. Okay, it's a bit hard for me because there's a big time differences.
I am seeing even some benefit of COVID-19 because now we have a very established online presence and activities, which means that so many people around the world can join. The good thing is that everyone can join. There is no excuse to the meetings and activities. Some of our research group meetings are routinely attended by more than 30 people. So now I am actually thinking, what should I do in 2022? Because as you know, university has planned gradually, and of course it should be like that, going back to some sort of normalcy. So my current plan is to keep still some of the activities still virtual in the post-pandemic era, because in my case, actually, I should also add that we can indeed do research in the virtual world, because most of my work does not need a wet lab like say if I work in biology, you work with animals and so on, let us say, or plants, you need a physical lab to do those. But in my case, it is based on computer simulations, and so on.
When we think about virtual research collaboration, experts have explored this concept in corporate teams and the natural sciences. But this is due to heavy reliance on computer-based applications. Less is known about how researchers in social sciences navigate their research from abroad and across multiple virtual teams. Our interviews support this preliminary observation. We found that it's much easier for some groups than others. We know that research phases that require individual work, such as literature review, seem to be effective for virtual research. While many researchers can join research groups virtually, we don't know the quality of the discussions and how researchers translate the face-to-face body language into a virtual world. Virtual research collaboration is a new form of research that offers unprecedented flexibility and can improve equity, diversity, and inclusion in our sector. However, we find that virtual research shouldn't be simply translated. As much as high-quality, in-person research collaboration requires strategy, support, and commitment, virtual research collaboration also requires new sets of skills in order to make the most of it.